Evangeline Lilly is a compelling figure in Hollywood, known as much for her piercing screen presence as for her fiercely independent and often unconventional approach to fame. From the shores of a mysterious island to the quantum realm, her career has been defined by transformative roles and a refusal to fit into the standard celebrity mold. Early life and discovery. To understand Evangeline Lilly, one must look past the Marvel posters and lost fan theories. Her early life was defined by a rugged, blue-collar upbringing and a deep-seated desire to change the world through humanitarianism, long before she ever considered being in front of a camera. Roots in the Canadian prairies. Born Nicole Evangeline Lilly on August 3, 1979. In Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, she was raised in what she describes as a low-income but spiritually rich household. Her father was a home economics teacher and her mother a produce manager who also ran a daycare out of their home. Growing up in a devout Baptist and Mennonite environment, Lilly's childhood was far from the Hollywood dream. She was a self-described tomboy who loved climbing trees, a skill that later earned her the nickname Monkey on the set of Lost. From the age of 14, she was already volunteering for children's projects, signaling her early intent to pursue a life of service. The humanitarian path. Lilly's true passion was never fame. It was international relations. To pursue this, she enrolled at the University of British Columbia, UBC. Her commitment to global development wasn't just academic. In the Philippines, at age 18, she traveled to the Philippines on a church missionary trip. She lived in a grass hut in the jungle for several weeks, and was even offered a permanent 2-year missionary position, which she ultimately declined at her parents' urging. Activism at UBC. While a student, she founded and ran a World Development and Human Rights Committee, further solidifying her path toward a career in philanthropy or diplomacy. The pragmatic discovery. Lilly's entry into acting is often cited as a Cinderella story, but for her, it was a financial necessity. While walking down the street in Kelowna, British Columbia, she was approached by a scout from the Ford modeling agency. Initially, she was skeptical and ignored the business card. It was only when she found herself struggling to pay her university tuition that she decided to call the agency. Even then, she didn't view herself as a model or actress. She viewed the work as a high-paying side hustle to fund her education. I didn't want to be an actress. I wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be a lot of things, but acting was never on that list. Evangeline Lilly on her early career, the odd jobs era. Before landing the role that would change her life, Lilly worked a grueling string of jobs to remain independent. Her resume from this period reads more like an action hero's backstory than a starlet's. A flight attendant, she worked for Royal Airlines, which helped her practice her fluent French. A grease monkey, she performed oil changes and grease jobs on big rig trucks. A waitressing, she worked at Earl's restaurant in Abbotsford to make ends meet. Her early acting credits were almost entirely non-speaking background roles, most notably as an extra in Smallville and the horror film Freddy vs. Jason. These small parts were merely a way to pay the bills until 2004, when a long-shot audition for a mysterious pilot called Lost turned her world upside down. The breakthrough, Lost, 2004 to 2010. The casting of Evangeline Lilly as Kate Austen is one of the most storied lightning in a bottle moments in television history. When Lost creators J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof were casting the pilot, they struggled to find an actress who possessed the specific blend of grit, athletic prowess, and ethereal beauty required for the female lead. Lilly, then an unknown Canadian actress with no major credits, sent in an audition tape that immediately stunned the producers. However, the path to the island was nearly derailed by international bureaucracy. The visa crisis. Lilly was nearly replaced before the show even began. As a Canadian citizen, she required a United States work visa to film in Hawaii. The paperwork was delayed for weeks, and the production team grew desperate. They reportedly auditioned over 75 other women for the role of Kate, but Abrams refused to settle. stating that Lilly had a unique, unrefined spark. Her visa was finally approved just one day before she was scheduled to start filming the pilot. She arrived on set and was thrust immediately into one of the most expensive and demanding television shoots in history, defining Kate Austen. Kate was the emotional and moral compass of the show, but she was also its most enigmatic figure. Lilly's portrayal broke the mold of the damsel in distress, often seen in 2000s television. The Fugitive, the revelation that Kate was not just a survivor, but a prisoner in transit, added a layer of dangerous complexity. The Physicality, Lilly performed many of her own stunts. Her background as a tomboy in Alberta served her well as she climbed banyan trees and sprinted through the jungle, often barefoot. The Love Triangle, the chemistry between Kate, Jack, Matthew Fox, and Sawyer, Josh Holloway, became the central romantic tension of the series, sparking the famous Jate versus Skate fan debates that dominated early internet forums. The weight of global fame. By the end of season 1, Lost was a global phenomenon, and Lilly was its breakout star. However, she has been candid in recent years about the psychological toll the show took on her. I went from being a person who didn't care about my appearance to being a person who was being judged on it every single day. Lilly struggled with the loss of anonymity and the it girl status she never sought. She often felt cornered by the industry's expectations and even considered retiring from acting entirely. Once the show concluded in 2010, she famously spent her hiatuses doing humanitarian work in Rwanda and other regions, trying to reconnect with the person she was before the island took over. Impact and legacy. Lost changed the landscape of prestige TV, and Lilly's performance was a cornerstone of that success. Her accolades. She earned a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Drama Series in 2007. A pioneer of the action heroine, Kate Austen paved the way for the modern strong female lead, showing that a woman could be a romantic lead while also being the most capable survivalist in the room. Key milestones during Lost. A 2004, the pilot episode airs to 18 million viewers. A 2006, Lilly wins a Screen Actors Guild (SAG) award for outstanding performance by an ensemble. A 2010, the series finale, The End, airs, closing a 6-year chapter of her life. The blockbuster return, Middle-earth and Marvel. After the intense spotlight of Lost, Evangeline Lilly famously stepped away from acting, intending to retire to a quiet life of writing and motherhood. It took two of the most powerful forces in modern cinema, Peter Jackson and Marvel Studios, to bring her back to the screen. Her blockbuster return was not just a comeback. It was a reinvention that saw her transform from a television survivor into a staple of high fantasy and superhero lore. The Elven Resurrection, The Hobbit. In 2011, Lilly was 3 months postpartum and living a quiet little life when director Peter Jackson called her. A lifelong fan of J.R.R. Tolkien, Lilly found the offer to join Middle-earth impossible to refuse. Creating Toriel, because the Hobbit book is notably devoid of female characters. Jackson and Fran Walsh created Toriel, a sylvan elf and captain of the Mirkwood Guard. The nonconformist elf, Lilly pushed to make Toriel more than just a warrior. She portrayed her as a young elf, only 600 years old, who possessed a rebellious streak and a soft heart for the vulnerable, distinguishing her from the more detached, regal elves like Legolas or Elrond. The physical toll. To play the lethal guard, Lilly underwent grueling training in swordplay, archery, and the Elvish language. She later credited this experience with showing her that acting could be a joy, rather than a burden, effectively ending her early retirement. Lilly entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Hope Van Dyne in Ant-Man. While her role in the first film was as a tactical mentor and estranged daughter, her character's trajectory would eventually break. A massive glass ceiling in the franchise, a titular milestone. With the release of Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018, Lilly became the first female superhero to receive title billing in an MCU film. This was a significant moment in Hollywood, occurring a year before Captain Marvel and 3 years before Black Widow. I felt the burden of being the first titled character in the MCU. I wanted her to be a representation of how I see women, strong, but with a balance of modesty and grace. Evangeline Lilly on the Wasp. Evolution of the character. The mentor, Ant-Man Hope, began as a cold and hard professional, resentful of her father, Michael Douglas, and skeptical of Scott Lang, Paul Rudd. Ere the hero, Ant-Man and the Wasp, she officially took up her mother's mantle, showcasing a fighting style that integrated shrinking and flight with finesse and lethal precision. Ere the humanitarian, Quantumania, in the 2023 sequel, the character evolved again, leading the PYM Van Dyne Foundation to use PYM particles for global humanitarian aid, a reflection of Lilly's real-life passions. The shift in perspective. Lilly's return to blockbusters was marked by a new philosophy. Unlike her time on Lost, where she felt cornered by fame, she approached these massive franchises with a firm line in the sand. She chose roles that allowed her to explore feminine strength without simply mimicking male violence, emphasizing that a character's heart and compassion are their greatest assets. Blockbuster filmography. Film. Year. Role. Significance. The Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, 2013. Toriel. First non-canonical major female character in Middle-earth. Ant-Man, 2015. Hope Van Dyne. Introduced as the tactical brain of the heist. Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018. The Wasp. First female titular hero in the MCU. Avengers. Endgame, 2019. The Wasp. Participated in the iconic all-female battle sequence, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 2023. The Wasp explored her vulnerability and maternal legacy. In June 2024, Lilly announced a new hiatus from acting to focus on her family and health, leaving her future in the MCU uncertain, but her legacy as a trailblazing action heroine firmly intact. For Evangeline Lilly, life away from the cameras has never been a side project. She has often described acting as her day job, while her true vocation lies in humanitarianism, literature, and a deeply personal quest for autonomy. As of early 2026, her life beyond the screen has taken on a new, more profound meaning following a major life-altering event. 1. The author. The Squickerwonkers. Lilly's most enduring passion is writing. Long before Lost, she was crafting poems and stories, a hobby that eventually culminated in her children's book series, The Squickerwonkers. The tone, far from the bright, sanitized world of typical children's books, The Squickerwonkers is delightfully dark. Inspired by the brothers Grimm and Dr. Seuss, it follows a band of eccentric marionettes and explores cautionary tales about vices like vanity and laziness. The philosophy. Lilly views these stories as a way to help children and adults confront the shadow side of human nature. She collaborates with Weta Workshop illustrator Johnny Fraser Allen to create a visually gothic, immersive world. 2. Global humanitarianism. Lilly's interest in international relations wasn't just a college major. It is a lifelong commitment. She has used her platform to support causes that prioritize direct aid over performative celebrity activism, a Task Brazil and Geo campaign. She has been a fierce advocate for street children in Brazil, often auctioning off personal memorabilia to fund secure housing. Rwanda. For nearly 2 decades, Lilly has made numerous quiet trips to Rwanda to support orphans and widows, focusing on community development and long-term sustainability. Her environmentalism. An avid hiker and outdoors woman, she has long supported the Sierra Club, frequently using her social media to raise funds for the protection of wilderness areas in Hawaii and Canada. 3. The choice of retirement, June 2024. In a move that stunned Hollywood but felt inevitable to those who knew her, Lilly announced her indefinite retirement from acting in June 2024. She shared a video she had filmed nearly 20 years prior, during the height of Lost, where she expressed her dream of being a retired mother and writer by the time she reached her 40s by stepping away at the height of her MCU fame. She chose Dharma, purpose, over the wealth and celebrity of the studio system. 4. A new battle, the 2025 health crisis. The most recent and deepest chapter of Lilly's life beyond the screen involves her recovery from a serious medical incident. The accident. In May 2025, Lilly suffered a traumatic brain injury, TBI, after fainting at a beach and falling face-first into a boulder. The diagnosis. On January 2, 2026, she shared a vulnerable update with fans, revealing that recent brain scans showed decreased capacity in almost every area of her brain. She noted that the cognitive decline forced her into a state of stillness that she hadn't experienced in 14 years. She is currently focused on an uphill battle of rehabilitation, viewing this period not as a tragedy, but as a mandatory season of rest and recovery. 5. Personal beliefs and advocacy. Lilly has never shied away from controversy, often prioritizing her personal convictions over public relations. A bodily autonomy. She became a polarizing figure during the pandemic for her vocal stance against government mandates, arguing that individual sovereignty over one's health is a fundamental right. A reclaiming femininity. In recent years, she has written and spoken about the villainization of femininity, arguing that modern society often pushes women to adopt masculine traits to be seen as powerful, while devaluing the revolutionary act of grace and charity. Stepping away from what seems like the obvious choice, wealth and fame, can feel scary, but stepping into your Dharma replaces the fear with fulfillment. Evangeline Lilly, 2024. Career summary. Evangeline Lilly's career is a rare case of a reluctant superstar. While most actors spend decades chasing the A-list, Lilly spent her career navigating a complex relationship with fame, alternating between leading some of the world's largest franchises and disappearing into years-long self-imposed retirements. As of early 2026, she is officially in a new chapter, having announced her indefinite retirement from Hollywood in June 2024 to live out what she calls her Dharma. 1. The Accidental Icon, 2002 to 2004. Lilly's career began not with a dream, but with a need for tuition money. Her discovery era was defined by uncredited background work that she viewed as a high-paying side hustle. In the extra years, she appeared as an uncredited extra in projects like Smallville, White Chicks, and Freddy vs. Jason. The day job mentality. Throughout this period, she remained focused on her international relations degree, famously telling agents she wasn't interested in acting as a permanent career. 2. The Lost Phenomenon, 2004 to 2010. Her breakthrough was one of the most rapid ascents in TV history. Within weeks of her first major audition, she went from a Canadian student to the face of a global cultural touchstone. Global impact. As Kate Austen, she was the emotional core of a show that averaged over 15 million viewers. At the critical peak, she earned a Golden Globe nomination, 2007, and won a Screen Actors Guild Award, 2006. At the first retirement, immediately after the Lost finale in 2010, she walked away from Hollywood, moved to Hawaii, and effectively quit acting for nearly 2 years. 3. The Franchise Queen, 2013 to 2023. Lilly was eventually lured back by the chance to work with legendary directors and play characters that defied female stereotypes. In Middle-earth, she played Tauriel in The Hobbit trilogy, 2013 to 2014, a role that required she learn Elvish and master complex archery. At the MCU milestone, joining Marvel as Hope Van Dyne, she made history in Ant-Man and the Wasp, 2018, as the first female superhero to receive title billing in an MCU film. Her final roles. Her most recent appearances include Crisis, 2021, and Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 2023. Career Achievement Summary. Breakout role. Lost. Global stardom. Defined the action heroine of the 2000s. Major win. SAG Awards. Won for Outstanding Performance by an Ensemble, 2006. Prestige film. The Hurt Locker, Appeared in the 2009 Academy Award-winning Best Picture. Industry first. Ant-Man and the Wasp. First female character with her name in an MCU title. Author debut. The Squickerwonkers. Launched a successful career as a children's book author. 4. The Final Bow. 2024 present. In June 2024, Lilly made her retirement official. She posted a video from 2004 where she had predicted she would be a retired actress in 20 years to focus on humanitarian work and writing. By early 2026, she has shifted her focus entirely to writing, continuing the Squickerwonkers series, a health advocacy. Following her 2025 brain injury, she has become an advocate for traumatic brain injury, TBI, awareness and cognitive rehabilitation, a humanitarian work, dedicating her time to global initiatives she previously only had hiatus time for.